Friends and viewer, Franz Kafka, a very famous writer, the author of the famous The Trial and the Metamorphosis, the Castle, had written a very few short story. Today I have Franz Kafka in my hand. Then the name of this short story is A Hunger Artist. Franz Kafka, he born in 1883 and he died in 1924. So this is the name of this short story is The Hunger Artist by Franz Kafka. I have in my hand. So the Franz Kafka, a very famous German writer. This name of this short story is The Hunger Artist. So this short story begins, a man is known only as the hunger artist and fast for a living travel from town to European town with the impresario, his manager, the impresario. In each town, the hunger artist chooses a public location and puts himself on display in a locked straw-lined cage. In a cage, he locked himself where he fast for a period of about 40 days. In the hunger artist heyday, people from all over the surrounding area came to witness his performance. Children especially are drawn to him, and when the hunger artist is not hypnotically withdrawn in the cage, he talks to them and answers the question with a smile. The adults also avidly monitor the hunger artist's progress, but they generally do so out of suspicion that the hunger artist is sneaking food. To the hunger artist frustration, the town people assign a man, usually butcher, to ensure that the hunger artist does not eat during the night. Even more annoying to the hunger artist, however, is that these men deliberately turn a blind eye to the hunger artist as if to allow him to steal a bite of food. The hunger artist sings to prove that he is not eating, but the people think he has simply mastered the art of eating and singing simultaneously. Although the hunger artist is famous, he is perpetually unhappy because of the townspeople incredulity. The hunger artist realizes that only he can be truly satisfied with his feat of self-denial. The hunger artist also feels constrained by fasting limits imposed on him. Although the hunger artist finds fasting easy and can go much longer than 40 days, the impresario always cuts the performance short because the spectator tend to lose interest. Furthermore, the ritual in which the impresario forces the hunger artist to break the fast is humiliating and unpleasant. First, doctor enters the cage to report the hunger artist's condition, which is announced with a megaphone. Next, two ladies chosen from the crowd try to help the hunger artist out of his cage. Unfailingly, the hunger artist objects and the impresario intrudes to make a show of how frail the hunger artist has become. By the time the ritual is over, the hunger artist has been force-fed and the crowd moved by the hunger artist's seemingly desperate condition. In truth, however, the hunger artist is miserable only because he knows he could have fasted longer and that his supposed fans actually hate him. The hunger artist goes on living in fame and quiet dissatisfaction, become hostile only when the occasional person theorized that root of his melancholy might be the fasting itself. At this suggestion, the hunger artist rattles his cage like a beast and can be calmed only by the impresario, who plays up the hunger artist's misery to the people by showing photographs of him withering away. Though these photos in reality capture the hunger artist looking wretched because he is being forced from the cage against his will. The impresario advertises it all as the effect of the fasting itself. The impresario gesture never fails to cow the hunger artist, who sinks in submission back into his straw, forever misunderstood. Professional fasting eventually goes into decline as audience develop a taste for newer, more exciting forms of entertainment. The hunger artist impresario dissolved their partnership, but because the hunger artist is too cold to take up a new profession, he attempts to ride out the trend against fasting in the hope that it reverses itself. He joins a circus and becomes a sideshow placed at the entrance of menagerie of animals and other curiosities. As a result of his placement, the hunger artist is ignored by the throngs of people who have come from the livelier attractions inside. The hunger artist is non-existent save for a few stragglers who look at him as an anachronism. Left alone, the hunger artist finally exceeds his fasting record, although there is no way to tell exactly how long he has fasted because the circus attendant forced to change the sign on which his daily total appears. The hunger artist wastes away in this cage unnoticed and unappreciated. Many days pass before a circus overseer noticed that what seems to be an unused cage. Upon closer inspection, the overseer discovered the hunger artist buried in the straw, near death, thinking the hunger artist insane. The overseer humors the hunger artist in his last words. The hunger artist asks to be forgiven, explaining that he has wanted only to be admired by everyone. When the overseer assures him that everyone does admire him, the hunger artist tells the overseer that they shouldn't, confessing that he has fasted only because in life he could not find food that he liked. With these words, the hunger artist dies. The circus attendant bury him with his straw and restock the cage with a young panther, which is unlike the hunger artist in nearly every day. Stalking about in its cage, the panther brims with life, feeding hungrily and expressing freedom and vitality. In no time, it becomes a major draw for the circus, and crowds of people edge close to the cage in breathless excitement. So this is the story of the Hunger Artist by Franz Kafka, a lovely story, and the theme of this story as Kafka is itself a pessimistic writer, he always sees the dark side of life. The theme involved in this short story is the separation of artists from society. In A Hunger Artist, the hunger artist's troubled relationship with the spectator suggests that the artist exists apart from society and must therefore be misunderstood. In the hunger artist case, being an artist means cutting oneself from the world, a conclusion reflected in a hunger artist's conscious choice to squeeze himself in a cage. The physical separation of a hunger artist and spectator mirror the spiritual separation of the individual artist's ego and public will. The harmful effect of pride. Although the hunger artist's fierce pride in his art enables him to improve his fasting, it ultimately stops him from reaching his goal because it hurts his public appeal and connection to other. He looks on his emaciated frame and protruding ribcage with vanity, deeming them badges of honor. But his pitiful, grotesque body repels the woman who initially want to carry him from his cage. At the end of his fast, in his case, his starved body, which is the manifestation of his pride, is thing that ensures him. The fruitlessness of hunger. The hunger artist relishes hunger throughout the story, hopefully that it will. So this is the story of the hunger artist by Franz Kafka, and very Kafka, as all of us know that he is one of the pessimist writer, and in his every writing you will find the same type of theme, how the author humiliates himself, how he goes through the pain, through suffering of his life. So the miserable protagonist of the story, this character, this hunger artist, dressed in black tights. The hunger artist is emaciated. Everything about his demeanor cries of desperation and tragedy. Is Squeezer himself in cage, preferring to sit on a straw-lined floor rather than on a chair, although he craves public attention and is delighted to display himself to wide-eyed spectators. The impresario, hunger artist manager, until his partnership with his hunger artist end, the impresario is wholly dedicated to the hunger artist career and devotes all his resources to his advancement. As a result of spending so much time with the hunger artist, the impresario likely knows him better than anyone else. So the overseer, the circus manager who discovered the hunger artist dying in his cage. These are the character of the hunger artist by Franz Kafka, and very pessimistic and painful short story by Kafka. I hope we must read it once more. It needs more and more attention. Thank you very much.